Hey guys, what's going on? It's Razgs here, and welcome to episode 12, I think it is now, of the Brexit show. Today we're going to be talking about the Letwin Amendment, which could force the government into a delay, and that Boris Johnson has told MPs the whole world will breathe a sigh of relief if they back his Brexit deal tomorrow, as he is now apparently only 31 votes short of victory. So first of all, we're going to talk about the Letwin Amendment. So this amendment has literally came out within the past 2 hours, and it's literally yet another pointless amendment by the Remainers trying to frustrate Brexit and just doing all they can to stop it. So as we know, Johnson's got his deal, and if it's approved, their Ben Act becomes irrelevant, because obviously he would have got his deal, so there'd be no need for that delay. However, there's been an amendment that come out, which basically means the full Commons consent would be withheld from the deal until the whole package of EU exit laws are pushed through. So even though Boris has got his deal, what's basically, in simple terms, even though the Ben Act says we can't leave without a deal, Remainers are now trying to say that Brexiteers could withdraw their support after the deal passes, and then no deal's back on the table. That's the excuse they're using, even though they've said countless times there's no loophole in the Ben Act. And now they are basically, because what was meant to happen was they're putting a motion of another referendum attached to any Brexit, to Boris's deal. If that got passed, then there'd have to be a loser's vote. Now what they're doing is they are trying to make it so even if Boris's deal does get through Parliament, he's still got an ask for an extension just to push it back. So it's disgusting. The Remainers in Parliament are really getting on the nerves of, I think, a lot of people now, and they need to grow up and just let this happen. We've all had enough of this Parliament, and even if you're a Remainer, I think we'd all can agree on one thing, that this Parliament needs a general election so that the people can put who they want in there once and for all, and finally either get Brexit through, or if in the odd chance people do want to remain, then it's a referendum pact with Remainers. A Parliament pact with Remainers. But this Parliament is a disgrace, and I stand by what Geoffrey Cox, the Attorney General, said when he said that the Parliament is a dead Parliament and they have no moral right to sit on the benches, because Remainers like this, like Letwin, it's correct, they have no moral right to be sat on these benches, because what they're saying about no deal is code, and I firmly believe that it's not that they're scared of no deal, it's just that they don't want to do Brexit. And I would just love to be able to set up a call with one of these guys, with one of the Remainers in Parliament, and just speak to them and actually really make them understand the full anger of the people out here, because I honestly believe they're just sat in their own little bubble, just not thinking about anyone else, just thinking about themselves, when this still would bring certainty to business and would finally end 3 years of bitterness and divide in this country. Because if this deal was to go through, I honestly do believe this would be the point where everyone starts to come together, because even Remainers would be like, oh well, it's gone through now, what can we do? I mean, there's a few who'd probably start their campaign to rejoin, even if it turned out to be a success of leaving the European Union, but you can't please everyone. But I believe the majority would then just decide to just accept it and move on. So we're now going to move on to the second point, briefly. Basically, the Prime Minister, how it's adding up at the moment is 259 loyal Conservatives, 11 Tory Spartans, which if you don't know what that means the Conservatives who voted against Theresa May still 3 times, 9 ex-Conservative rebels, 7 Labour rebels, and 3 independents. So these votes at the moment are what Boris has, and he needs 31. Now at the moment there's 7 Labour rebels, and if you guys tuned in, I can't remember which Brexit episode it was, but there was 20 Labour rebels who wrote a letter to Juncker and said, give the Conservatives a deal because we'd much rather leave with a deal than without one. So they gave their support basically for leaving with or without a deal at the end of October. So let's just take 7 off that. Let's say the Daily Mail haven't included those 13. If you add 13 onto that, you have 20, 19, 18. You have 18 votes left to achieve. And those 20 Labour signatures of the letter didn't include like the other hardcore Brexiters in the Labour Party, such as Katie Hoey, who I have a lot of time for. I really respect her views and her stance on Brexit. So then you add 21, that's 17, and then I think there'd probably be, I think there was 19 Tory Spartans. I honestly believe Boris could get them on side, so that'd be 8, so then he would need 10 more votes. And there's another, why do I keep putting myself in mathematics situations? Then there's another 12 ex-Tory rebels to convince to vote for the deal, and if they do that, that takes the 31 out of the equation straight away. So that is really how the numbers have to add up for Boris to get his deal through. But Labour are really piling on the pressure against their MPs not to vote for the deal. With McDonald, I think, is threatening some sort of punishment for voting for the deal. But yeah, any Labour member who votes this deal will be true democratic patriots, in my opinion, respecters of democracy, and they would have my respect 100%. So anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe and comment, and please do down below give me your views on the Oliver Letwin situation, his amendment, but also give your view on Boris Johnson's deal, and if you believe he can get it through Parliament or if he can't. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.